It is Friday, May 30th, 2025. This is another edition of Baseball Today. That is my man, Trevor Plouffe. I am Chris Rose, producer Dan, and intern Sawyer along for the ride as well, as Trevor Plouffe will be back on your television, Twins fans, this weekend to call the Twins and Mariners series from Seattle. Are you excited? Oh, look at how excited you are. You brought your mitt.
I always call the game with my mitt on just in case there's foul balls, and it just makes me I feel like I'm in the action a little bit. Maybe I'll start recording more with my mitt on. I don't know, but I oiled it up. It's all really nice right now. I'm very excited to get back in the booth. I love watching baseball, but there's nothing like, I don't know, delivering it to the audience.
Yeah.
It's so fun. I don't know. It's something that I hope I always get to do. I don't take it for granted at all. So I'm very excited about the opportunity, Chris. I really am.
Two or three man booth?
2-man.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Tell Corey hi. He does a very, very good job up there.
I will. Yeah, I'm excited. He had a little weekend off, a little early week off as LaPanta and Morneau did the games in Tampa, and now me and Corey meeting up to do these games.
Love it. By the way, I'm wearing a minor league hat. Arkansas Travelers, based in North Little Rock, Arkansas, AA affiliate of the Seattle Mariners. And the reason, this is kind of an alternate hat, they are honoring the goodest boy in baseball. It's their ballpark pup, Dizzy. And so from June 10th through the 15th, the Travelers are going to be wearing the Barkansas Dizzies. So go out and get this hat. Check out our social media. Click the link in the description. Go support them. I love this little puppy. It's cute. I like adding to my minor league hat collection. And this one's
I like Barkansas. That's awesome.
That's good. It's well thought out by the marketing team. Well done. All right, before we get to a huge weekend in baseball, including a World Series rematch, so I was watching the start of the college softball World Series, and I don't know if you followed this, but Oklahoma, they are on quite a run. They're going after their 5th straight national championship. They end up actually hosting the event, so the 8 teams that have made it there to Oklahoma for the title. They were down 3-1 against Tennessee. This awesome pitcher, Pickens, she's the one that threw the fastest pitch earlier this year that we talked about. Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
She was dominating them. Had a 3-1 lead, 2 outs, bottom of 7. They only play 7 innings. And then Booma Suna.
Oh. Sends it out. Deep center field. Ella Parker walks it off for Oklahoma.
So the place was going nuts. I was watching this live with Josh because he directs a lot of college softball. And then we found out Ella Parker is Dave Roberts' niece.
Okay.
Pretty cool.
It is awesome, dude. So we have told my youth baseball team, stop watching Major League Baseball, watch college softball right now, because it's like such a fundamentally clean game. It's so fast. It's so fun to watch. We're like, hey, watch these girls play.
Yep.
Like, this is how you have to play. Like, they are let me tell you something about college softball. You think a coach has ever had to tell one of the players to hustle? Like, I don't think that's ever come out of a college softball coach about, hey, you're not hustling. They hustle.
Yeah.
It's such a fast game. It's so fun to watch. And I believe, didn't Major League Baseball just invested in a professional softball league? So we might be seeing more of that. I mean, they crushes for ESPN. So they know there's ratings there. It's really cool. I'm excited for that.
Yeah, it's very cool. 2 of the 4 games were walk-off homers. UCLA topped Oregon in the nightcap. So if you have, a little bit of a minute, go check it out. It's a fun sport. And Dave Roberts, of course, he'll be busy this weekend because we do have the World Series rematch between his Dodgers and the New York Yankees playing for the first time since this happened.
Start the party, Los Angeles. Your Dodgers have won the World Series.
Okay. So we're going to go with a game of true or false and why. Okay?
Sure.
This Yankees team that we will see this weekend is better than the one who played in the Fall Classic in 2024. Is that true or false, and why?
It's true because they're a more well-rounded team. They're getting more production up and down the lineup. The defense has been better. I mean, even, people are salivating over watching Paul Goldschmidt play first base there. That's when things were bad the prior year. base running's better. Everything is. It's just they're a more complete team, and Max Fried is throwing the shit out of the ball too, along with Carlos Rodon. Judge is having an even better year. He's dipped under 400 people. No, but I 100% believe that this is a better team, a more well-rounded team.
I would say true. It is true. At first, I thought, oh, no, it's false. They're just kind of off tonight. Now, are there questions? Will Paul Goldschmidt continue at this clip or even at a decent clip? Trent Grisham, what is he going to look like in 2 months? Can Fried and Rodon continue at this level? I say yes to the last one. The first two, I'm a little bit more skeptical about. But you're right. I mean, we talked about this a little bit earlier this season that the money that they were going to put into Juan Soto, they dispersed elsewhere, right? If they had kept him, they wouldn't have got, maybe they still get Max Fried, but I don't know if they're able to pull off a trade for Devin Williams. I don't know if they're, able to go get Cody Bellinger or even would have thought about going to do that. But they are a more athletic, well-rounded team. Let's remember the Dodgers were laughing at the Yankees last year, basically saying, just put the ball in play and they're going to screw this game up. That will not happen this weekend. That's not how the Yankees are put together now. So they are a better team. And that's saying something when you're taking out not just Juan Soto, because right now things are a little foggy with how we look at Juan Soto. You have to remember how great he was a season ago. You were taking that Juan Soto out of this lineup.
Yeah, but it's just longer. There's more guys that can get the job done up and down the lineup. You talk about, look, Trent Grisham hasn't, been great in the month of May like he was in April, but I think he's still putting up really nice at bats. You can talk, adding Ben Rice to the equation, just up and down the lineup. I like this Yankees team obviously much more offensively. The one thing I will say is like I think if they want to go over the top and really go all out this year, I think they could add to the bench a little bit. So one place I'm like, I don't know if I love the Yankees bench.
Overall, their OPS is over 800. Last year it was around 760. They're on pace for about 15 more homers, nearly 30 more steals. As we mentioned, the defense is better and they're more athletic. All right, the next part of this Dodgers team obviously received a ton of hype, but isn't as good as the one from last year's World Series. True or false, and why?
I think it's just as good. Largely it's a lot of the same players. They added some. They've just been dealing with injuries. So if you're talking about a fully healthy Dodger team, I'll say it is false. It is as good as last year's. If you're talking about how it's constructed right now, I'll say true. It isn't as good. And we're seeing, how many pitchers do they have on the IL right now? I believe it's like 13 or 14. And again, with them, I think their bench could use some help, but it just kind of depends. Like if we're talking about a healthy team or a non-healthy team, because my answer will change.
Well, the problem is that we talked about this with the bullpen. Yes, on yesterday's show, is that we don't know a bunch of those guys are coming back, with the exception of Yates, who's returning from a hamstring injury. Everybody's coming back from a forearm, elbow, or shoulder. Those aren't things that you could say, oh yeah, they're going to be fine. So those 5 dudes in the bullpen that they want to rely on at some point this year, with the exception of Evan Phillips, who could be in real harm's way here, we just don't know how that's going to go. So I think you have to go based on. I don't think you can go based on the fact that they're going to be healthy.
I think this team is just as good as the one that won it last year. I do.
Okay.
And you know what? We put the Dodgers under a microscope all the time, but they're still winning baseball games. They still have just a crazy, scary lineup that can just pound teams when needed. So like the pitching, that could be an issue for them at points just because of all the injuries, but this is a team that could outslug anybody in baseball.
But they also have the worst winning percentage of any of the 3 division leaders in the National League.
By what, half a game?
Yeah, it's not.
Come on.
They're all right there, but we expected them. We asked the question, does it even matter how many wins they get during the regular season?
We did say, this is the one thing I'll say about the Dodgers, that, we needed to walk back. We said, is this one of the greatest rosters ever assembled? if they were healthy, you could, and everyone played up to their potential. I think that's where we were at. It was in the offseason that we were saying that. So we're very optimistic in the offseason. They're clearly not the best roster ever assembled as they've played so far this year.
Well, but that was the whole point. We said that when they have injuries, they're still just going to be able to roll over teams, and that has not been the case.
It kind of has been. They're in first place in a
They
gauntlet
are
of
in
a
first
division.
place, but they're not rolling the way that we anticipated. They're not.
Yeah.
I mean, they started
If
off.
this is bad Dodgers baseball, then that's
It's
kind of
not
like,
bad.
okay.
There's a big difference. I will say this, as I did a little research, the top 5 hitters in their lineup tonight against Max Fried, OPSs of 1.04, 742, 1.04, 901, and 975. I mean, holy crap. The one guy who's at the back end of the class is Mookie Betts at 742. Jeez. Holy smokes. One quick trade note. We mentioned this. The Dodgers were going to have to make some sort of deal. They pick up former All-Star closer Alexis Diaz from the Reds.
He was in AAA. Like,
Yeah.
he's struggling.
Well,
They're grasping. Right
they
now.
are, but
yeah.
hey, if they fix him, isn't that a win?
Yeah. Of course it's a win.
Okay.
Is he like going to go straight to their bullpen? I'm assuming, yeah. He's making some change this year as well.
I would think so.
And they have to pay like 110% tax on it, don't they? So whatever he's making, double it plus some. They don't care. Oh my God.
Yeah, well, they'll be fine. Continue on with true or false and why. The Yankees need to prove something to themselves and the nation this weekend.
False. I think they understand who they are as a team, and I don't really think years should overlap. So I understand why in the fans' minds, like, oh yeah, they lost the Dodgers last year in the postseason. Is a completely different team. They just need to continue focusing on themselves and be who they are. Like I don't think, regardless if they sweep or they get swept, I don't think this necessarily has a bearing on what happens if these teams do meet up again in the postseason. I don't.
It is true to the New York media. It is false to everybody else that lives outside of New York.
Okay. I agree with that.
That's the way I see it. Because particularly if the Knicks get eliminated over the weekend and their season is over, and then we're going to start focusing more on the Yankees, and people are going to be like, oh, God, well, they can't beat the Dodgers. So it doesn't matter what they do in the American League anyway. If they have to face the Dodgers in October, it's all going to go to crap anyway, it's a 3-game series. I don't know who's won each of these series the last 3 or 4 years that they played anyway. So
it's a great point.
All right, now just a bonus. This isn't a true or false. Which superstar or just player, you can just make it a player, will shine brightest this weekend?
I'm kind of hoping it's Cody Bellinger. I love, it's not necessarily revenge games, but when people play against their old girlfriend there, the Dodgers. I hope it's him. I hope he crushes the ball, and actually, I want the Yankees to win this series. How about that? For all the people who think I hate the Yankees, I want the Yankees to win this series. So I'll go on Cody Bellinger.
Well, you and I are on the same wavelength, brother, in part because he has played 13 games against his original team. He has gone deep 6 times. 6 times, including his first game ever as a visitor when he was putting on the Chicago Cubs threads. Now, here's the one thing. The pitchers that he hit those 6 homers off of, none of them are on the Dodgers active roster. So I don't know, but maybe he just feels so good when he goes back to Dodger Stadium. Doesn't matter who's on the mound. And he's going to be facing 3 right-handers, at least to start the game this weekend. So who knows? See.
I love it.
We'll see. Let us know. What do you think is going to happen? What's the most important thing for you? Are these teams better or worse than when they met in the Fall Classic of 2024? You got a ton of stuff to comment about. So let's get to work on this. Thanks for playing the latest edition of True or False and Why. And we'll tell Trevor Plouffe what he won on the way out. In the meantime, we got more stuff coming your way. But first, a word from our friends. Today's episode of Baseball Today is sponsored by Moo. You know what? I've seen Moo pop up everywhere lately, especially on Mets games. If you don't already know, Moo is a global brokerage that serves over 25 million users across major markets. That includes the United States, Canada, and Singapore, Japan, and even more. Like other brokerages, Mumu offers $0 commissions and contract fees on stocks, ETFs, and options. But unlike brokerages, Mumu also offers a wide range of tools, analysis, and educational resources for free. To help celebrate their new partnership, they're doubling the promotion for our audience, now offering up to 60 free stocks and 2 sweet tickets to a Mets game with a qualified deposit. Not to mention, Mumu users can get free tickets to all Monday home games at Citi Field. Who knows? You might even see me there in the near future. Go all in on Mumu by clicking the link in the bio or scanning the QR code on the screen to earn up to 60 free stocks and 8.1% on your uninvested cash for the first 3 months. Thanks again to Mumu for sponsoring this video. All right, we continue on with good news and bad news for the Atlanta Braves on Thursday. And since we're glass half full type of people around here on Baseball Today, we will start with the good news. And that included a sale on strikeouts.
1-2, and Sale got him. Career strikeout number 2,500 for Chris Sale. Only the 40th in Major League history to reach that mark. And he gets Sosa to do it, and he does it on the slider. 6 scoreless innings for the reigning Cy Young winner.
Braves really needed that after they dropped the opener of a double dip in Philly on Thursday. So you heard the 2,500 career strikeouts. He did that in the fewest innings ever by a pitcher to reach that milestone. Now, let's remember, it was a few years ago where he had the arm surgery. He came back. He wasn't pitching a lot in Boston. Then he gets traded to Atlanta, wins the Cy Young. How shocked are you that he has gotten to the pinnacle of his career after all those injuries?
I'm honestly just not too shocked. Like when he is healthy, he's dominant. And I've said this so many times on the show. I mean, I've faced him a ton. I think he's the pitcher I faced the most in my career. He is just a different type of pitcher. You can't game plan for him. There's nobody that throws like him. I know Sean Manaea is trying to, but there's just nobody that throws like him. So the arm angle is crazy. The way he can manipulate his speeds on all his pitches is crazy. I'm just a big fan of his.
I think I'm a little surprised just because when you get to your mid-30s and you haven't been healthy, I mean, you don't know what to expect. I know that, Justin Verlander has won a Cy Young late in his career. Max Scherzer, yes, the last 2 years have kind of been bumpy in terms of injuries and inconsistencies and things like that, but he pitched very well into his mid-30s. But I think for Chris Sale to do all this has been astonishing, right? He was limited to less than 50 innings from 2020 through 2022. He missed a whole year and then didn't even get to 50 innings the next 2 seasons combined. And then for him to just dominate the way that he has, I don't think he's been better in it. I don't think this is the best he's ever been in his career, even though he won the Cy Young a year ago, won the Triple Crown. I think there were times, you tell me in how you've seen it, because I don't know. This isn't the best he's been. He's been great.
I mean, I think there were probably spurts, during his run there from 2012 to 2018 where like the stuff played up more,
Yes.
some extra velo, a little bit extra crispness. But I think also now, like, in his more veteran years, maybe he's a better overall like pitcher, which, I think he's just different. He's a guy that used to eat up innings as well. Like he had 4 years, over 200 innings. So like when healthy, he's a guy, Chris. Like we talk about Hall of Fame with him all the time. I think he's a Hall of Famer.
Oh yeah, I don't think there's a question. There were 7 straight years he finished in the top 6, most of those top 5.
Yeah.
And then, he goes to Atlanta and he wins the Cy Young. I don't think he'll win it this year, but he'll finish top 5 again, quite possibly.
He's one of those guys,
awesome.
man. I used to face him, and there'd be times where he would seem like not like he wouldn't care, but he'd get into trouble, and then like he'd refocus or something, and then just get nasty when he needed to do it. It was almost like he was bored with the game at times back in the day.
He must be one of those guys where when he's throwing the ball, it looks like he's right on top of you.
It's not right on. It looks like it's coming from the first baseman. Like it's just a weird angle. I mean, it just makes your depth perception against him is just so off. And again, like he's just so good at manipulating that and like, using his arm angle to his advantage. It's nasty.
You ever click him?
No, I got close a few times. I think I hit okay against him. Not a lot of extra base hits. I think I'm 286 career hitter against him, but not a ton of extra base hits.
286. We'll take that. All right. The big news from the early game was that the Braves lost A.J. Smith-Shawver, and Brian Snitker said it doesn't look good. They sent him back to Atlanta immediately to go get looked at. They already put him on the injured list. It was a very strange scenario, right? He's out there pitching against the Phillies in the third inning, and you can see him kind of shaking his arm, and then he starts looking into the dugout, and nobody comes out to check on him until Spencer Strider wanders over, tells Kranitz, the pitching coach, and Snit, like, hey, he's done, dude. Like, he gave him one of these, and now the trainer comes out, and now the pitching coach and the manager come out, and Smith-Shawver is done for the day. Are we overreacting, or is this a terrible look for the Braves hierarchy?
It's not a good look, Chris. I mean, that's the one thing that you do as a pitching coach specifically is you got to keep your eye on your guy. I mean, a manager's got a lot of stuff going on, but obviously, that's one of your big focuses is what does your guy look like? And we saw like a spike in velo from him, and then shaking arm. And I was telling Jake this earlier today. I've seen this happen in real time. I saw Ryan Presley do that when he was with the Twins. All of a sudden, the velo spiked like almost 2 miles an hour for his fastball, just throwing the absolute crap out of the ball. And then I saw him, and he wasn't like shaking his arm, but his arm was shaking, like it was fluttering just uncontrollably. And I saw him kind of looking around, same thing. Ends up going back I think he also got taken out on the mound as well. But I don't know what it is. Like I don't know if like a tendon, just gets a little loose. You get a few extra miles per hour, a little extra whip or something, but. Scary, man. This is obviously very bad for the Braves and for Smith-Shawver.
Yeah, we might get some sort of word
And
later today.
He got hit by a liner, but that's not what happened here.
No.
Was internal.
Yeah, these are two totally separate things. I mean, you could see Smith-Shawver mouth that I heard a pop. I mean, we didn't need Jimmy's expertise to be able to lip read that one. So you hope for the best because the kid had really cranked it up. He had a poor start recently, but really looked like a different pitcher this year. And now for the Braves, who are a few exits back of the Phillies in the National League East. And I hate to sit here and pick on Brian Snitker because you just told us that this is more on the pitching coach than the manager because the manager's got to take care of the whole game. Pitching coach has got to focus on his kid that is out there. It hasn't been a great year for Snit in terms of in front of the microphone and observing things during the game. Every manager can screw up, pinch hitting here, pulling a guy there. We see the multiple instances every day in the sport where you could critique him as a fan. I think people are really worried like the game is too speedy for him at this point.
I don't know if I agree with that. I don't know. Didn't Alex Anthopoulos just come out and say like he's earned the right to like manage? Was that a different GM that came out and said that about his manager? I think he's earned the right to just manage however long he wants, basically.
I don't know. I mean, I know that people, of course, they're not going to like it. The Braves are sub 500, and they've been extremely disappointing.
They're 3 games under 500. They're 26 and 29. They have been disappointing. We talk about them coming back from the 0-7 start, but this injury obviously really hurts them. Raisel Iglesias has not been good for them. Snitker, he's not like a 30-year-old manager, but I don't know if the game is too fast for him. And I don't always agree with the stuff he says, but I don't know if we can put that on him.
Well, I can just tell you this, that Braves fans that are watching us today, you let us know in the comments section how bad it's been, because we do obviously watch the Braves, just like we watch the other 29 teams, but we're not in on every move and every little thing. We try and see what he's saying post-game, if there's some interesting stuff or non-interesting stuff. He just said that weird stuff about Austin Riley and the Braves infield, that this isn't, he had committed a bunch of errors at home, and he was saying, well, this isn't all on the player. It's just some strange comments.
Well, I think people interpret that like he was calling the grounds crew out, but I think he was really just talking about he had some bad hops on him, which is fine. That happens.
Okay.
I'm defending Snitker right now, I guess.
Yeah,
I don't know.
You are. All right, Snit fan.
All
right, it's time right now for our Like a Bosch Player of the Week. It is brought to you by Bosch Power Tools. Just like Bosch Power Tools, this player got the job done through hard work, grit, determination as well. Who's your Bosch player of the week, my friend?
Whew, this guy needed it. My guy is Christian Yelich of the Milwaukee Brewers. He had seen his OPS drop to 600, his batting average below 200, and then he went on a heater, 10 for 25 in the week, Chris. That's a 400 batting average for you math nerds out there. 3 homers, 8 runs driven in, had the walk-off grand slam against Liam Hendricks as the Brewers swept the Red Sox. So he needed to get it going. Brewers needed to get it going. Yelly's been hitting the ball on the ground a ton this year, 65% ground ball rate. He just needs to put the ball in the air because when he does, Chris, he homers. 10 homers on 26 fly balls this year. So just a little mechanical tweak for my guy Yelly, get him going, but a great week for him.
I know we've talked a little bit about my guy, but great bounce back for Gavin Sheets, who's found a nice, comfortable home out in San Diego. I don't know if it's because the weather is fantastic and the ballpark atmosphere is great, but 5 homers in his last 7 games. Other than that, his batting average has just been kind of the same that it's been all year. But the power numbers are definitely there. He's got 11 homers so far this year. His career high is 15. So he's going to lap that number. And, his career, look at that one. The lean and end up on the other side of the plate. That was a fun one the other day. So for his career, he is a negative WAR player. It's like negative 2.1 or something like that.
Yeah, he's almost got a full WAR this year too. So it's
That's
even
the
worse
thing, is
coming
that
in.
he's finally showing some positivity.
He's been like the most consistent hitter on that team. So I'm happy to see him having success.
I saw his dad's entire career. Just saying. I told him that. This is going to make me feel extremely old, but I saw your dad's entire career.
Well, that's fine, Chris.
Yeah, whatever. So there you go. Today's episode, sponsored by Bosch. When you pick up a Bosch power tool, it makes you feel empowered and confident and appreciated no matter what job lies ahead. You're simply going to crush it. As a global leader for power tools, measuring tools, and accessories, Bosch's innovative product solutions. They're built with quality, engineering, and precision in mind. The assortment of products ensures you have the right tools in your toolbox to tackle a variety of tasks with relative ease. Bosch's 18-volt battery platform powers numerous tools, creating a consistent energy home base that keeps the brand's family of tools running. Like your favorite players on the field, Bosch Power Tools make sure that you are powered up, ready for anything that gets thrown your way, because the more you Bosch, the more you feel like a Bosch. So head on over to Bosch Power Tools, BoschTools.com today to learn more about the power tools you need to get the job done right each and every time. Once again, that is BoschTools.com, BoschTools.com. All right. Angels are going to have one of their main players back in their lineup as they start a series in my hometown of Cleveland, Ohio. Mike Trout is back. He has missed the last month with a bad knee. Your interest level on the return scale of 1 to 10 is what?
Like, I want to see Mike Trout play. So, like, watching him play, interest, 10 of 10. I just wish he was coming back to a better situation. I mean, the Angels, they rattle off 7 wins in a row, then they lose 5 in a row going into this series. They're sitting below 500. They're not really a factor in the AL West. And I know Angels fans don't want to hear it, but that's just the truth. Like, I love watching Mike Trout play. There's a lot of guys on the Angels I like watching play, but overall as a team, they're just not getting the job done. I don't know, man. Like, if he was coming back to a 500 club and a club that was, close to, a wild card, like, I'd be excited, but I don't know. I guess overall, I'll give you a number 1 to 10 with all things being considered, like a 7.
Yeah, I'd say an 8, even if he wasn't playing. Obviously, I'll be watching him. He's playing my team, but
they got to 500, Chris. They were there.
They were there.
25 and 25.
If he had come back a week ago, the team aspect would have been much more interesting. But I think we're at a critical time in his career, Trev, and I don't think I'm overreacting here. I am wondering if we are seeing an entirely different Mike Trout. Is he strictly going to become a power guy? Now, he's always been a high strikeout guy. But right now there is swing and miss to the point where it's either leaving the yard or there's almost no other scenario that is happening in the positive column for him. I mean, you saw it. He had a little bit more than 100 at bats before the injury, and he had 9 homers. That part's great. But did you see the other numbers we're talking about? Sub 200 batting average, an on-base percentage of 264. His career is over 400. His career is over 400. He's at 264. So
I'm curious to see if we see some mechanical adjustments. Look, he's age 33 this season. His body's not going to work the same as when he was 23. That's just how it goes. Like, everyone has to make different adjustments. I'm curious to see if that starts to happen with him, because he's not going to be a guy that's going to be satisfied doing what he's doing. Like, he's just had too much success in his career to be like, all right, like, I'm just going to be a 700 OPS guy. Like, he's going to have to figure things out. Yeah, I mean, mechanically, it's hard to change up what's worked for so long, but it comes to a point, like you said, if you're swinging and missing as much as he has, you got to do something.
Well, so it was probably 3 or 4 years ago where you started looking at his numbers and projecting and saying, we're going to see another 3,000 hit, 500 homer guy. And that's who it's going to be. Well, I still think the 500 homers are well within reach. He's 113 shy of that. So this year, as long as he plays the rest of the year, he's going to blow past 400 and we'll feel good about that. But he is 1,333 hits shy from 3,000 in his career. I'm worried he won't even get to 2,500.
That's a lot. Yeah, it's a lot of hits to make up for sure.
Yeah, and it bums me
I mean,
out.
He never was a guy that, like, he never had 200 hits, never led the league in hits. He's been more of a power type hitter anyway. So, like, 3,000 that's a lot, man.
No, but it was in the discussion 4
Sure.
years ago when we were doing that. Do you know the last season he had at least 150 hits in a year?
I do, because I have his page up right now. It's 2016.
Can you believe it's been 9 years? 9 years. What a bummer. I hate doing that. I hate having the Mike Trout discussions because I love him. There's a small sector of baseball fandom that's like, was Mike Trout really, was he ever good? Like, really? Is he really a first ballot Hall of Famer? I'm like, shut your mouth.
Nobody says that. That's crazy.
Oh, the first ballot thing, they absolutely do.
He's a first ballot without a freaking doubt.
Of course, to you and me, but there are people who watch the game and they will go,
they started watching in 2020.
What's that?
They started watching. Oh no, shit. I'm looking at, like, when his, like, bad season happened. I guess 2021 is where he started to get hurt.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'm always excited when he's on the field. How about that?
That's a good way to go about it. All right, you're up in Seattle, where there were definitely some fireworks last night between the Nationals and the Mariners, and in part because the home plate umpire, Andy Fletcher, who had a rough night. If you go ask the Mariners, Crawford didn't like this call and really got in his grill and got tossed and threw the bat. And I mean, Dan Wilson, can we get out there a little faster? I mean,
Dude, all these managers are just too slow right now.
Holy smokes. Let's try and go save our guy. And let's not take a little leisurely stroll. Go out there and try and save your dude. That was a bad call.
We've seen some bad calls as of late, and it ends up with the player getting thrown out, which is, that says something about it. Oh, my God. Yeah.
They were saying on the broadcast that was so far outside that Keibert Ruiz couldn't even bring it back into the strike zone to try and frame it.
Yeah, the pitch before was up to, like, it was a strike, but, like, at the top of the zone. So I think JP was already kind of frustrated with that. So that's taking 2 out of 3, though.
By the way, JP is going to get fined for that, right?
I'm a guy that never got thrown out at the big league level.
But you know if guys get fined, don't you?
It's very small.
Okay.
It's not like the NBA where they find these guys, like, what do they do with all that NBA fine money, dude? I'm like, dude, Anthony Edwards has been fined $500,000. I'm like, where does that go?
It's a hell of a party in the league office.
Is that what it is? That's millions of dollars a year those guys are getting fined.
Well, the thing I don't understand, and I work in the NFL, is that guys will get fined like 40 grand for an illegal block or something. And if somebody's on their rookie contract and they
Dude.
make 850,000 a year, what do
People
you
don't
have to pay that
understand,
in
like,
installments?
these guys who are making all this money now, they don't understand how much $40,000 is. Because it's coming in, it's big. But when you stop making those checks, you're like $40,000 for because I wanted to fucking dance in the end zone. That's silly.
All right, so we just used that video to kind of kick off the weekend. What's the series we should keep our eye on that we haven't talked about yet?
There's not a lot of great series, if we're
Not.
being honest. I'm going Brewers Phillies, just because the Brewers, they sweep the Red Sox. They're kind of, getting back to who they should be. They had a bunch of nice defensive plays in that series, and Christian Yelich has gotten going. Philly wins 2 out of 3 from Atlanta. They're, extremely hot. So I think that's a fun series. And one before the season, we would say, oh, that's a playoff series for sure. The Brewers are not there right now, but I think they found a little something, and I think it's a good series to watch.
St. Louis and Texas. 14 years ago, we had the World Series. That was a fun one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was a great finish. Games 6 and 7. Well, game 6 was utterly insane.
Nelson Cruz out there in the outfield.
Oh, unreal. In part because it's got two of the most surprising teams in baseball. On the positive side, I think the St. Louis Cardinals have been the biggest breath of fresh air. We didn't expect them to be any good this year. We were wondering how quickly they were going to be selling off pieces left and right. I still don't think they'll catch the Cubs, but that doesn't matter because they have played great baseball. Their lineup has been remarkably consistent. You don't look at it and say, man, that dude is just killing it. He's in the MVP conversation. You're not going to find that on this team. But what you will find is a bunch of guys who play every day, whose OPS is over 740 or 750, and you feel like, this is what a team is supposed to be. The starting pitching has been sneaky good. We've talked about the bullpen at times. Have there been a few guys that could pick it up? Wilson Contreras, he's sub 700 OPS. Nolan Arenado's sitting right around there. Jordan Walker, we're still kind of waiting for you to be and turn into the big-time prospect that just hasn't happened yet. But for the most part, nothing but glowing marks for Ollie Marmol in that franchise. On the other side, the Texas Rangers, what in the hell is going on there, dude?
I don't know.
What? Let's see here. They've dropped 9 to 12, held to 2 runs or less in half of those games. Jock and Semien have been horrible. Jock's OPS is barely over 500, and Semien's is under 500. I mean, this is now it's not like, we're almost 60 games in. What are you looking at?
Just some notes I had from the Jays Texas series. I mean, they had 2 games, totaled 6 hits. The game they won, they had 6 hits, so 12 hits in the 3 games there. I mean, their offense is just non-existent.
What? It doesn't make any sense. They have too many proven players.
Agreed. I'm all about the Cardinals too. They've found their identity. Played good defense. You're right about the lineup. It's like kind of next man up. Like somebody's going to get the job done with runners in scoring position. They're going to get the big hit, and the pitching's been obviously much better than expected. They're playing a good brand of baseball, man.
Yeah. So 2 of the biggest surprises in baseball, one on the positive side and one on the negative side. Okay. There you go. But hopefully, even though the series don't look super appetizing, maybe they'll surprise us, and on Monday we'll have some great stuff to talk about.
Dodgers Yankees is appetizing.
Yes, absolutely. And everybody give Plouffe some support. Hopefully you've got the MLB app. You can watch him even if don't live in Minnesota. Go give him a listen. I'm going to tonight.
Listen up, man.
We'll be piled in front of the TV. We won't be watching Dodger Yankees. We'll be listening to Trevor Plouffe call the Twins and Mariners.
Yeah.
That's what we do. We support each other around here. By the way, did you see in one of the comments, it's very interesting to see how you people listen and consume what we say. Somebody's like, God, can't you just tell that Trevor and Chris hate each other? I'm like, what? Where do they get that from?
People, man, you're in this game for this amount of time, Chris, and there's going to be some people that just don't like you.
Well,
that's what I've come to grips with. Like people just don't like my attitude sometimes. Nothing I can do.
That part's fine. I get that. That sort of shit has never bothered me. I mean, yeah, we'd all love to be loved, but if somebody doesn't like what we do, okay, I get it. But I'm saying that they see it as though we don't like each other. Where
I
does
love you.
that come from?
I tell you that all the time. Every time I come on the show, I love you, Chris Rose.
Yes, you do. You do. And I love you too.
Thank you.
Makes me feel good. All right. Once again, don't forget about the Arkansas Travelers. It's going to be the Barkansas Dizzies coming up June 10th through the 15th. You can bring your dogs to the games that day. So that'll be fun as well. Good luck in your series this weekend. Okay.
Thank you.
Have a great time. For our one-of-a-kind producer, Dan Rourke, our awesome intern, Sawyer, that is the uber-talented and man whom I like very much, Trevor Plouffe. I am Chris Rose. We will see you Monday here on Baseball Today.